Right now, Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s name will stay on the Wisconsin ballot in November. How the Dane County clerk is reacting to the decision. Plus, investigating another apparent assassination attempt of former President Trump. What charges the suspect is facing as police review his background. And a boost in student enrollment by the University of Wisconsin's system president says more people are attending their schools. It's all ahead on News 3 Now at 10. No one to blame but himself. That's what a Dane County judge had to say after rejecting Robert F. Kennedy's request to be removed from the November ballot. Arman Rahman spoke to local elections officials about that ruling today. Arman?
Yeah, Eric, the Dane County clerk says it could have been a huge logistic obstacle if his name was taken off the ballot, since those ballots are already sent out. And Wisconsin State Statute Section 8.35 says independent candidates who submit nomination papers before the August 6th deadline can't be removed from ballots unless they die. Kennedy dropped out of the race for president on August 26th and endorsed former President Donald Trump. The judge says that makes it his fault if he wanted to get off the ballot earlier. And McDonald says with roughly 26,000 absentee ballot requests for Madison alone, altering them would have been very difficult.
Bottom line here is that Mr. Kennedy has no one to blame but himself if he didn't want to be on the ballot.
For us, though, we couldn't delay printing the ballots. We have so many to print. We had to go ahead and print them. Otherwise, we fail to meet our statutory deadlines on when they have to go out to, say, overseas military voters. So they're printed. They're being delivered.
Kennedy's team today arguing that machines across the state should be tested with stickers over Kennedy's name before any ruling that could be made that doing so would jeopardize the people's power to vote. And Kennedy's attorney has already filed an appeal with the 2nd District Court of Appeals. That case was put on hold pending today's ruling.
Armand, thank you. Vice President Kamala Harris set to return to Wisconsin this week. The Democratic presidential candidate will hold a rally in Madison Friday. Campaign officials say it'll be held early in the evening with more information to be released at a later date. The announcement comes after the Associated Press reported the vice president would visit Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin to shore up the so-called blue wall. The vice president's running mate, Minnesota Governor Tim Walz, made a stop in Wausau last week. And Republican vice presidential nominee J.D. Vance will be stopping in Eau Claire tomorrow. This appearance will take place at the city's event center at 4:30 p.m. It'll be his second visit to Eau Claire in just over a month's time. New court documents are in the apparent assassination attempt of former President Trump showed the armed suspect camped outside the golf course there for nearly 12 hours yesterday before his arrest miles away. Manuel Bajorquez reports now from West Palm Beach.
Keep walking!
Newly released body camera footage shows the arrest of suspected gunman Ryan Wesley Routh on Interstate 95 after authorities say he attempted to assassinate former President Donald Trump.
The subject, who did not have line of sight to the former president, fled the scene. He did not fire or get off any shots.
Routh appeared in court Monday facing federal weapons charges in connection with Sunday's incident at Trump's West Palm Beach golf course.
A U.S. Secret Service agent walking the golf course perimeter saw what appeared to be a rifle poking out of the tree line. After the agent fired a service weapon in the direction of the rifle, a witness saw a man later identified as Ralph fleeing the area in the tree line.
At the time, Trump was playing golf at the club near the 5th and 6th holes and was between 300 and 500 yards away from the suspect on the other side of a chain-link fence. Law enforcement sources say Ralph's car and license plate were photographed by someone who alerted police, leading to his arrest nearly 50 miles away. Trump was unharmed Sunday, but the second attempt on his life since mid-July raises new questions about the Republican presidential nominee's level of security.
I've had a conversation with the former president. The president is aware that he has highest levels of protection that the Secret Service is providing him.
Routh, a North Carolina man who lives in Hawaii, has a criminal record and has criticized Trump on social media. The FBI is now reviewing Routh's background, his online activity, and objects found at the scene. Manuel Bajorquez, CBS News, West Palm Beach, Florida.
Our area will stay high and dry for much of the week. Let's check in with meteorologist Jacob Bonasano for our summer-like temps. Jacob?
Yeah, we are going to continue to see these warm temperatures. Even when the temperatures dip a little bit towards next week, they're still going to be above average. Now let's take a look at the current conditions. 71 in Madison, partly cloudy skies, definitely feels pretty comfortable out here, and typically that happens when we have warm temperatures during the day. At night, they remain fairly comfortable. Around 70 for Loudoun County, a few areas in the middle 60s, a few other locations kind of in the lower 60s, but overall, southern Wisconsin is very comfortable at this hour. But earlier in the day, that wasn't necessarily the case. Middle to upper 80s, even some lower 90s for high temperatures. And I want to point out that 86 in Madison, only 5 degrees off the record high of 91. Meanwhile, back in 1984, we dropped all the way to freezing at this point, and we're not going to get anywhere close to that. Not sure why the forecast low says 27. That is definitely incorrect. It might just be a graphic glitch, but nonetheless, the temperatures are kind of flirting with records for at least daily records, I should say, but we're likely not going to get to that level tomorrow either, similar to today. Overnight lows will drop to around 60, partly cloudy skies, mild temperatures, but the warm weather will continue. I'll talk more in detail about the forecast coming up just a little bit.
All right, Jacob, thank you. It's almost fall, but it is still pretty summer-like out there, and this heat is keeping a local orchard on its toes. As we inch closer to the official start of fall, just a few days away, pumpkin patches and the apple picking, that'll start ramping up. But one Fitchburg orchard says from the wet start of the year in the spring to the warm and dry end of summer, they've continued to adapt to what's been a roller coaster of a year.
That's part of the challenges of farming. People don't always realize what it takes to get food on the table. But we have to be diversified, and so we have different crops, and that helps as well.
Now, as for the city of Madison, we have only gotten 2/100ths of an inch of precipitation so far this month. Multiple children are hurt after a school bus crash on a rural Wisconsin road. That crash happened this morning near Random Lake, about 40 miles north of Milwaukee. The Ozaukee County Sheriff's Office says a Jeep ran a stop sign and struck a school bus. The accident left the bus on its side and sent 8 students to the hospital with minor to serious injuries. 2 people in that Jeep were also taken to the hospital, and the Jeep's driver has been cited. The Kenosha County Sheriff's Department warning community members about a law enforcement impersonation scam. The department says scammers are contacting residents claiming that a loved one is in jail or that the resident had missed a court date. The caller will then demand payment to get a loved one out of jail or avoid going to jail. The department recommends, when in doubt, simply hang up. You can call the agency directly to confirm that a sheriff's deputy is trying to contact you. That number there is on your screen, in the middle of the screen there, the 262 area code. Now, the department also wants to remind residents that deputies will not ask you for money in any form. Social security numbers, banking information, phone numbers, all among the list of personal information items that residents in Richland County are looking to re-secure now. The county sent out letters late last week informing residents their data was accessed from a, quote, unauthorized individual in October of last year. Now, the current chairperson for the town of Dayton says she received 4 letters, 2 for herself and 1 each for her husband and daughter. Aside from the letters, she says communication with the county government has been hard to come by.
They're hiding. I don't know what they're hiding, but it is what it is. I mean, it happened. You need to address it, and you need to address it sooner than later because people are already very frustrated.
Well, Richland County's administrator says there is no evidence that any personal information has been or will be misused. If you have any further questions regarding the incident, the county has set up a response phone line. That information can be found on our website, channel3000.com. The Universities of Wisconsin reports an increase in student enrollment. According to the system president, fall enrollment grew by more than 1,000 students overall, including higher enrollment at 8 universities. The increase comes despite the lack of funding for the Wisconsin Tuition Promise and the rough rollout of the new free FAFSA form. More than 163,000 students are estimated to be enrolled, which is the highest since 2020.
We offer an education that changes the trajectory of people's lives, and they can see their children and their grandchildren as the next teacher, the next physician, the next engineer, the next data scientist, the next business and finance person. I think that's what people are excited about, and that's why I think they are. That's why I think we're seeing our enrollment increase.
Now, the official enrollment counts will be released later in the fall. That'll be based on the 10th day of enrollment. The Strong Schools, Strong Community campaign looking to highlight what they say is strong support from the community for upcoming Madison School District referendums. One is operational and asks voters to greenlight $100 million. The other is for facilities and asks for funding up to $507 million to replace buildings for schools in the district.
There are 23 buildings in our district that are 60 years or older. The aging infrastructure is at a point in time where we can no longer take a wrench and a toolbox down to fix it. It needs replacement. Our learning environments need to have reliable HVAC, air conditioning, and be a comfortable place for students to learn and teachers to teach.
You'll see both of those referendums on the ballot on November 5th. And an MMSD staff can expect to see a bump in their paychecks for the school year. The district's Board of Education approving an agreement to increase wages for the 2024-25 contract year. Staff will receive a 2.06% raise in base wages. An additional 2.06% increase is contingent on the passing of that operational referendum in November. When we come back, Jacob will have more on the dry conditions in the Madison area. Plus, could TikTok be banned nationwide? How local experts say this case could affect other social media platforms.
As a prosecutor, I never asked a victim or a witness, are you a Republican or a Democrat? The only thing I ever asked them, are you okay? And that's the kind of president we need right now. Someone who cares about you and is not putting themselves first. I intend to be a president for all Americans and focus on investing right now in you, the American people. And we can chart a new way forward. I'm Kamala Harris, and I approve this message.
With Chevy trucks, be ready for adventure. With power you can count on. Capability that doesn't compromise. A hard-working EV with more range than any competitor. And the potential to take you anywhere. Get 0% financing plus make no monthly payments for 90 days on all 2024 Silverado 1500 pickups. Or get $5,750 total value on this Silverado. See your Badgerland Chevy dealer today.
Quartz takes a different approach to health insurance. We know every life well lived is a journey. And we're here to light the way at every step. That's why for 40 years, we've been alongside the doctors and hospitals who know what their communities need. Because they're a part of them. Because we're a part of them. There's a fire burning in all of us. Let's ignite it together. Quartz. Find your spark.
3 years ago, I had an abortion of a desperately wanted and loved baby. Joan Ballwig wants to ban all abortion, with no exceptions. Not for rape or incest, not to save the mother's life. I know what it's like when women have to make these heartbreaking decisions. The very last person who should have anything to do with it is a politician like Joan Ballwig.
These were my great-grandpappy's glasses. And now they're yours, son.
Why can't I just get my own?
What? No, these have at least a few hundred years left in them.
I think the kid needs his own. Get 2 pairs of glasses and a free eye exam for $79, all same day.
Yeah, I want my own.
Stanton Optical. Easy's our thing.
4 years ago, rioters set this Minneapolis police station on fire, trying to burn me and my fellow police officers alive. Governor Tim Walz left us for dead. And Kamala Harris?
This is a movement, I'm telling you. Everyone beware. They're not going to let up, and they should not.
She raised millions to help bail rioters out of jail and supported defunding the police. Kamala sold cops out and put families at risk. Kamala Harris is too weak and too dangerous to be president.
Preserve America PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
The final sprint to Election Day is on, and News 3 Now this morning is focused on the races and the policies that matter to you, the voter.
We're taking a look at both sides of the issues and where the candidates stand so you can cast your vote with confidence.
3 for the people, only on News 3 Now. You're watching News 3 Now at 10.
Now to the latest on the TikTok saga. Will the app be banned? U.S. lawmakers and the makers of the app met in federal court today, and our Maddie Heimsch is here with the details of both arguments. Maddie?
Yeah, so to break it down, U.S. lawmakers argue that the app's parent company, ByteDance, poses a threat to national security, claiming that the Chinese government could use the software to essentially spy on Americans. But ByteDance and TikTok supporters say those concerns are, quote, speculative, and that banning the app would violate First Amendment rights. So what does this mean for us?
So could TikTok be gone in a year? Maybe. If TikTok stays around, will it be the same TikTok? Maybe. Will nothing change between now and then? Maybe.
Okay, not exactly the answer you may be looking for, but Madison College marketing professor Steve Knoll says it really is that complicated. A law signed by President Biden in April said it would ban TikTok in the states due to concerns that the app could access supposedly secure information from our devices and provide that information to the Chinese government.
The big question is, what are they doing with this information? And therein lies the reason why it's in court right now.
Unless the law is overturned or the court case is extended, the ban is set to take place on January 19th.
The government could step in and shut it down, in which case that'll get very complicated to do. People go on the internet and they're able to download it and view it and all this stuff. There'll be ways around it, but the average person probably won't be able to do it.
That is, unless ByteDance agrees to sell the app to an American-owned company.
And ByteDance has said it's not for sale.
And that's what brings both sides to federal court.
Today's trial that started out is really about ByteDance trying to say, no, this is First Amendment. We have the right to do this.
Knoll says that while national security is at the center of the courtroom, the app's psychological effects also have officials worried.
It learns very quickly what type of content you like, and then it shows you just enough where you scroll to the next one, and the next one, and the next one. So it's really designed almost like how a drug affects the brain.
And that, he says, could be a larger issue. Knoll says all social media platforms are designed to keep you scrolling. TikTok just happens to have an efficient algorithm. His point being, this may not be the last time we see our favorite apps in the courtroom.
All right, Maddie, thank you. Local first-time home buyers have the chance to learn more about the path to home ownership. Landmark Credit Union hosting a series of seminars for the month of September. The discussions are centered around the process of buying your first home. Members of the credit union's mortgage team will walk listeners through the pre-approval process, submitting an offer, buying a home. One of Landmark's sales managers says even with the higher rates these days, still always a good time to purchase your first home.
So people are stressed in regards to the rates. Obviously, rates have gone up in the last few years. But what one of my realtors always says is, when is the best time to plant a tree? And the answer is, 20 years ago. Well, when's the next best time? Well, today is.
Well, the seminars are free and open to the public. The session is being held tomorrow night. Well, this November, Middleton voters will get the chance to decide if they should pay more in stormwater utility rates. Under the current structure, the city's stormwater utility charges about $45 a year. Without voter approval, that rate will drop back $15 per year in January 2025. The referendum will decide if the rate should increase to $92 per year, but that will help with infrastructure upgrades and storm preparation.
Right now, the city's stormwater utility rate is the lowest by far of all of our peer communities. We pride ourselves in Middleton for having low property tax rates. It isn't a point of pride to have such a low stormwater utility rate because it means we're underfunding that utility. And we know what we have to lose. The flood of 2018 caused $40 million in damages, and it took us 5 years for the city to recover.
A yes vote will allow the city to adjust the fee based on actual costs. A no vote means that property taxes will cover any additional costs. Over much of the week, the Madison region will remain dry and warm. Let's check back in with meteorologist Jacob Madison with the latest on our rain chances. Hoping for some, Jacob.
Yeah, we may see some a little bit later, but for the next couple of days, what you said is pretty much all you need to know. It's going to remain warm and dry, with those rain chances possible over the weekend. We may see a few other rain chances before then, but the best chance of rain will be over the weekend. Now, looking at the forecast for tomorrow, very similar to today, plenty of sunshine, highs in the middle to upper 80s. This is going to be kind of a rinse and repeat for both Wednesday and Thursday. Although Thursday, we do have a little bit of a chance of rainfall. But as we look at the high temperatures the next 10 days, 80s through Friday, middle 80s through Friday, we are going to see the temperatures drop a little bit for the beginning of next week, but notice the normal line, that's still below the average highs. And by the end of the 10-day forecast, the average highs will be in the upper 60s. So we'll be getting to the point where 70s will be above average. Meanwhile, we may still be back in the 80s by the time we get to next Thursday. So we're going to remain very well above average going forward. Here's a look at future track. Clouds will clear up throughout the night and tomorrow. We are going to see more sunshine. Temperatures will be similar. Could see some clouds Wednesday later in the day and overnight. Once we get to Thursday, we could see a few showers in the afternoon for areas near the Mississippi River. But but most of our area, the best chance of rain will be overnight Thursday into Friday. It does appear to be brief, and it should clear up by Friday morning. Friday afternoon, we could see a few showers, but for the most part, we're going to be dry during that time frame. And then as we get to the weekend, we do have a rain chance, but considering the weekend's now 5 to 6 days out, a lot can change between now and then. So looking at the total precipitation we're expecting for the next 7 days, a lot of rains in the forecast west of Wisconsin, but Madison and points eastward, we're not going to see a lot of it. Only going to see about 1/4 of an inch, maybe up to a 1/2 inch. Meanwhile, areas near the Mississippi River will see a little bit of relief, maybe about 1 inch to 1.5 inches for a few locations. This is the rainfall we're going to see Thursday into Thursday night, and then the rainfall we're expecting over the weekend. So really, the further east you are, the less rain you will see. The further west you are, the more rain you will see. So looking specifically at the rain chances, very dry through the day on Thursday, and then we're going to slowly increase those rain chances as we head towards the end of the week and the weekend. And unfortunately, this will not be enough to kind of counter the deficit that we've seen over the last month and a half, which have created the drought monitor to start showing some abnormally dry conditions. I wouldn't be surprised if we start to see moderate droughts pop up on this upcoming drought monitor on Thursday. So here's a full look at the 7 to 10 day forecast. Again, a chance of storms over the weekend. Still a bit unclear, and the confidence is pretty low as to where seeing widespread storms. Best chance of rain will be west of Madison. Again, a lot can change between now and then. Temperatures, though, do look like they'll drop a little bit with highs in the middle 70s, but it looks like they'll bounce right back up to the 80s by next Thursday. So for the most part, definitely staying warm and staying fairly dry with just a few chances of storms here and there.
And coming up in sports, the Badgers take down the Bruins for their first Big Ten win of the season. Well, the game really wasn't that close. That's next on News 3 Now.
News 3 Now First Warn Weather is brought to you by Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor.
Discover a shopping and design experience as comfortable as the furniture. Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor. Schedule your free design consultation today.
I'm a 2-time Trump voter.
In 2024, I cannot support Donald Trump.
Trump is 100%
responsible for January 6th. His treatment of women is just disgusting.
Trump called servicemen suckers and losers.
If Trump has a second term,
it will be much worse than the first.
Kamala Harris is a prosecutor.
He's a convicted felon.
In 2024,
I will be proudly voting for Kamala Harris.
Republican Accountability PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Pella windows and doors are best in class, not only from the endless styles, but for the features you can't see. Pella manufactures, tests, installs, services, and warranties their products, meaning quality craftsmanship and innovative design are built into every Pella window and door for timeless beauty and performance. Get as low as $18 per window and $81 per patio door per month. Set your free in-home consultation today at PellaWI.com.
They say post it or it didn't happen. But out here, in the places we were made for, you'll have to take our word for it. Find somewhere the internet's never been. With the family of Broncos designed to get you there.
Lease a new Ford Bronco for $399 a month for 36 months, only at your local Wisconsin Ford dealer.
Thousands of our heroes face the difficult choice between keeping their heat and power on or facing homelessness. 21,000 Wisconsin veterans are living below the poverty line. Wisconsin loses 3 veterans to suicide every week. Together, our mission is to provide all struggling Wisconsin veterans with a critical survival safety net. You can make a real difference by providing a donation to the Wisconsin Heat and Housing for Heroes initiative.
This election is about 2 very different visions for our nation. One focused on the future, and the other focused on the past. When the middle class is strong, America is strong. Lowering the cost of living will be a defining goal of my presidency. I'll lower the cost of insulin and prescription drugs for everyone, and I will work to pass the first ever federal ban on price gouging on food. More than 100 million Americans will get a tax cut. We will end America's housing shortage by building 3 million new homes and rentals that are affordable for the middle class. economy where everyone can compete and have a real chance to succeed. Now is the time to chart a new way forward. I'm Kamala Harris, and I approve this message.
Well, the news isn't good for Tyler Van Dyke. According to multiple reports, Wisconsin's QB1 is out for the year with a torn ACL in his right leg that he suffered 7 plays into Saturday's game. A little over 2 games with the Badgers, TVD threw for 422 yards and a touchdown. So with Van Dyke out, that means the keys to the Badger offense are now in the hands of Braden Locke. It's a situation that he's familiar with. Remember last year, Locke came in for Tanner Mordecai when he was hurt and went 1-2 as a starter. This season, though, he's even more comfortable with the offense and is confident that he can be the one to lead Wisconsin.
You know, I think I obviously learned a lot last year, just dealing with that scenario already before. I think just the experience helps. You know, even though it was only 3.5 games, I feel confident. I feel confident in my preparation, and I feel confident in our locker room, and I believe in the guys in there.
The last time Wisconsin faced Marquette, the environment was unlike any other. Over 17,000 fans packed Pfizer Forum to watch the Badgers beat the Golden Eagles in 4 sets. Tomorrow, the rivalry is renewed at the Kohl Center. Now, the all-time series isn't close. UW leads it 22-1. But throw out the records on Tuesday night because Kelly Sheffield knows this one is going to be a battle.
You got two really good teams, really high-level teams that are separated by about an hour. And we played a very competitive match at the Fiserv last year with the 2 teams, and I think it was incredibly entertaining. And I would expect nothing less from this tomorrow. A lot of experienced players that were a part of that match last year.
In 11 days, the reigning WCHA tournament champs dropped the puck on their season, and like usual, big things are expected out of the Wisconsin women's hockey team. Mark Johnson's squad is projected to win the WCHA, claiming the top spot in the coaches poll. Kirsten Sims was named the league's preseason player of the year, while Caroline Harvey was named preseason All-WCHA. Let's kick it. Wisconsin men's soccer hosting UCLA in Big Ten play, and the Badgers were rolling in the first half. Off the rebound, Kevin Andrews sends a left-footed strike into the back of the net to make it 2-0. Wisconsin scored 3 goals in the first half. Badgers beat the Bruins 4-1, the final. And the Brewers opening up a 3-game series with the Phillies. No score in the third. 2 on for William Contreras. And he's going to smack one right through the infield and roll it all the way to the wall. 2 runs come home to score. Brewers win it 6-2. Their magic number is now down to 2. We're back after this.
This ad is a complete lie. The truth is, Tammy Baldwin's never shared inside information with her partner. And Tammy Baldwin's leading the fight to ban senators from purchasing any individual stocks. It's Eric Hovde, who owns a $3 billion California bank. And Hovde's bank takes millions from unknown foreign interests, meaning we'd have no idea who Eric Hovde would really be working for. Eric Hovde, what's wrong with this guy?
I'm Tammy Baldwin, and I approve this message.
This is Good News, Madison, brought to you by Don's Home Furniture.
Overture Center's mission is to support and elevate the community's creative culture through the arts. So 2024 marks the 20th anniversary of the opening of Overture Center for the Arts, and we are celebrating all of what we call the O moments that people experience when they come to Overture.
And that is Good News, Madison, brought to you by Don's Home Furniture.
Drive into summer with the rugged Honda Ridgeline, Passport, and Pilot. Summer is for exploring, so get outdoors, kick up some dust, get muddy, or just find that perfect campsite. All from Honda, the 2024 Kelley Blue Book's KBB.com Best Value brand. So act now to get an offer you'll love. Buy online, reserve from select dealers, or hurry into the Honda Summer event.
Old windows? Compromise your home's comfort. Vinyl windows, a 1970s relic, aren't built for extreme weather. They warp and crack, becoming vulnerable to the elements. At Next Door & Window, we have the answer. Fiberglass. Ultrex fiberglass windows last up to 50 years, longer than any other window you can buy. And while other companies cut corners and never call you back, we've got your back. When you demand tomorrow's comfort, Next delivers. Visit nextwindow.com to learn more.
Hot tub season is here now, and Leisure Concepts has so many hot tubs in our showroom, we can barely move. Tons of new hot tubs. Floor models are on sale, and a powerful 4-seat hot tub is just $59.99. We'll deliver your new hot tub immediately, and we train you so owning and loving your hot tub is a breeze. Check out our huge packed showroom now for a great hot tub at a great price. Leisure Concepts is on the Beltline at the Park Street exit.
Bidenomics is working.
It's not. ABC News proved it with charts.
It was under control
on
during
inflation,
the Trump administration, well below
gas,
$3 a gallon, 35%
and housing.
jump in home prices, folks.
Even CNN admits it.
When it comes to the economy, groceries were less expensive, housing was more affordable when Donald Trump was president.
Yet Harris still says,
Bidenomics is working.
No, it isn't.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
The First Warn Weather Team takes you beyond the barometer, only on News 3 Now.
This week on The Late Show, Colbert's got Anderson Cooper, Rachel Maddow, Jeremy Strong, and music from Sting. New this week on CBS.
Jacob's back. Quick final check of the forecast.
Next couple days, not much going to change. Sunny skies, highs in the 80s. Then we have a few chances of storms over the weekend, which may cool things down a bit, but they'll still be above average for this time of the year.
And thanks for joining us for News 3 Now at 10, folks. Have a great night.